Thank you for allowing us to come in and help you determine if your student assignments are aligned to the rigor of the Common Core state standards. Let's get started by explaining what we need you all to do. Your site administrator should have received a box of curriculum calibration collection labels and folders from DataWorks. They look like this. Now your site administrator needs to distribute the collection folders. The collection folders are used to collect samples of student work, but more on that later. Each teacher will need one folder for every class or distinct course they teach. Now we know this can be tricky, so here are some examples to help you determine how many folders you need. Example number 1 shows Mr. Cool. He says, "I teach 4th grade. I have the same students all day, and we learn all subjects together." DataWorks says Mr. Cool needs one folder. All of his samples, be they ELA, math, science, or history, will go into the same folder. Example number 2 shows Miss Fabulous. She says, "I teach 2 periods of algebra, 2 periods of pre-algebra, and 1 period of science." Miss Fabulous needs 3 folders. Samples only need to be collected from each unique course that she teaches. She will need 1 folder for algebra, 1 folder for pre-algebra, and 1 folder for science, a total of 3 folders. Example number 3 shows Mrs. Incredible. She says, "I teach math for all the 3rd grade students." Another teacher teaches the ELA for all the 3rd grade students. Our students rotate to different classrooms. DataWorks says Mrs. Incredible needs 1 folder so long as the students are all being assigned the same work. Samples only need to be collected from 1 classroom of 3rd grade students as long as the same work is given to each class. If different assignments are given to each class of students, then she will need a different folder for each class. If you are still not sure how many folders you need, please talk to your site administrator, or feel free to email us at calibration@dataworks-ed.com. Now that you have your collection folders, it's time to collect student work. So let's talk about what you need to put in those folders. The first step of this process is selecting one student whose work you would like to collect. Ideally, this student should have good attendance and be well organized enough to turn in all of his or her assignments to you for the entire collection week. Every assignment that you assign to that student for the entire collection week needs to go in the folder. Every assignment for the entire week. This includes lessons that were written on the whiteboard. Just make a copy of the student's notebook or take a picture of the whiteboard and send the photo in. PowerPoints that you projected on the wall, print out a copy and put it in the folder, or any other printed or digital resources you used during the collection week. Now that you have a stack of classroom assignments, grab your assignment labels. They look like this. If you haven't received your assignment labels, please see your site administrator. Ideally, each teacher should have 3 or 4 full sheets of labels. If you need more labels, just make a few photocopies. Now, cut out the labels and staple one to the top of each assignment in your folder. Then, fill out the label for each assignment. Step 1. Circle the type of work. Did you assign it as homework? Did you guide the students through the entire assignment? Or were students asked to do this assignment independently? Circle all that apply here. Step 2. Circle the source of the work. Where did you get this assignment? Is it something that you created? Is it a commercial book that you bought from a teacher supply store? Or did it come from an adopted textbook? Circle one option in this box. Step 3. Write the standard that you were covering with this assignment. Once all your assignment labels are filled out, place your stack of labeled work in the collection folder. Now, it's time to fill in the information requested on the front of the folder. It is important that you fill in as much as possible so that our calibrators can correctly organize the folders by school and grade. The top section of the collection folder is fairly straightforward. Just fill in your school and your name. Now, depending on what grade you teach, You only need to fill out one of the sections below. If you teach elementary school, you will fill out the second section. If you teach middle school, fill out the third section. And if you teach high school, fill out the fourth section. They are labeled, so you don't actually have to memorize that. For each of these sections, remember that the information that you are entering is about your class, not the individual student whose work you've collected. So circle the grade that you teach, the type of class you have, and the subject or course you teach. If you're an elementary teacher, we just assume that you teach all subjects. If you're a special education teacher, then fill out the fifth and final section of the folder with the student's age-appropriate grade level, as well as their IEP grade level for both ELA and math. Finally, select the type of special education class that you have. Okay, all assignments are labeled and in the folder. Check. Folder is filled out? Check. All you have left to do is submit that folder to your site administrator by the scheduled due date. Oh, and you might want to put a big rubber band around your folders to keep your assignments from flying everywhere while they're being shipped to DataWorks. UPS isn't the gentlest. Site administrators, once you've collected the folders from your teachers, please put them in the box that was provided by DataWorks, seal it up, and stick the prepaid label on the side. Hand the box off to your local UPS driver, or drop it off at any UPS shipping facility as soon as possible. Remember to ship your collection folders by the due date given to you by DataWorks. Your box of collection folders will be returned to your site within 10 to 12 weeks. So, you may be asking, what happens next? Well, the team of calibrators at DataWorks will receive your box and begin calibrating all of your assignments. For every assignment, they will determine if it meets the rigor of the standard and how well it aligns to the Smarter Balanced assessment questions. If it does not, they will provide constructive suggestions for modification that will ensure alignment for Common Core success. Upon completion of the calibration, reports and charts will be generated to help illustrate trends that were seen across your school. Specific samples will be pulled to demonstrate these trends and areas for enhancement. No student names, teacher names, or any other identifying marks will be shown on the samples pulled for the presentation.